Yeah, so I've been doing my own solo climb for a little while. Been watching your videos and stuff. Very
Sure.
helpful.
Awesome.
Um, so yeah, basically what I just started doing was playing with a team,
Uh-huh.
and we did my first ever scrim. Everybody else on the team had scrimmed before. Um, but I would say more or less I kind of just felt like I was trolling the whole time. Um,
Sure.
and like going back through and watching the VOD, I definitely picked out a lot of the stuff that I feel like I can pick out of, but more or less there were just a couple of places where I just kind of wanted some extra confirmation or somebody with, more insight to take a look at it.
Yep. Okay. Sounds good. Do you have any questions about practice time or hero pools, training, warm up, mechanics, or anything? Obviously, replay review, we
Um,
go a little quicker through it, but I want to make sure that you don't have any questions before we
sure.
move on.
Yeah, I mean, I did have two kind of general questions, kind of more related to team play versus ranked. The first one just being on kind of general positioning. I
Yes.
felt like generally speaking, I just was getting punished way more for taking uh flanks. Like I
Yes.
knew I was too far away from my team and I was dead.
Yes.
And so I guess I'm just kind of trying to find a little insight on how to test those like breakpoints in team play versus like, in ranked. Like I feel like I only climb based off of me kind of just moving, taking space, taking an angle, and more or less just like it feels like if I carry, we win.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But,
Okay. So
and that's not how it works in the team.
right. So the way that works out on a team is you have a lot more support consistently on angles because you can communicate and coordinate with your team. So you're going to get a lot more support on those angles. It probably won't be a solo venture as much. However,
Right.
there's going to be a lot more pressure on those angles because there's going to be a lot more vision, a lot more scouting, and a lot more communication with the enemy team, if that makes sense. So the
Right.
type of angles
Yes,
that you
yes.
might need to take, excuse me, need to be communicated a little bit better. They need to be coordinated a little bit better. And then most importantly, the thing that on your end needs to be done better is you need to expect yourself to get pushed. Like that's the key thing. It's like you're going to
Mm,
have your
mm.
space contested in scrims more often than ranked because people in ranked are going to have they're going to tunnel vision. They're going to focus on main. They're not going to communicate with each other. They may not or may not use pings. That's just not going to happen in scrimmages as much. They are going to come for you, and you need to be ready for them. And so, looking at this VOD here, I'm seeing Pharah, I'm seeing Echo. You just need to really utilize your resources and assume that you're going to be pushed and take space accordingly. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
So it's
Um,
the same gameplay. Maybe you don't hard flank 24/7. You take more soft angles or use high
sure.
grounds or
And you
whatever.
just have to be quicker on being ready that you need to disengage off the
Correct.
angle or
Correct.
find a new angle
Correct. The value is still
more
there.
often. Like,
Right. The value is still there, but it just might be more through forcing resources rather than just solo killing the backline over and over and over again. And to be honest with you, I think that that's just a good habit to get into now, and that's why scrims may be useful for you. Is because as you climb up in the ranks,
mm,
you're going to get into a rank where more and more people are taking those angles. So you're going to have more and more times when you're going to run to a pocketed hit scan, you're going to run to a tracer, you're going to run to a tank, you're going to run to multiple people, and they're going to chase you, right? And you're going to have to fight for those positions and/or live. And so I think it's good to get in the swing of, oh, wow, angles are not free anymore. I actually am running into people
yeah, yeah,
actually
yeah,
taking
yeah.
space, right? So that's just kind of the par for the course, and you just need to be ready for that.
Um, and then the other one, if I'm gonna pursue trying to play with a team, I don't know if we had organized this team to do calling all heroes, but
Uh-huh.
that they had canceled the last chance qualifier for Rising. So I don't know if we're gonna do that next year.
Gotcha.
Um,
Okay, no problem.
but and so I don't know like where I'm gonna go if I'm gonna keep kind of playing with a team or
Sure.
playing a team or whatever. But um, just kind of looking at like hero pool,
Mm-hmm.
I mainly just I main Pharah.
Yeah.
And Sim is a hero that like I've always been pretty decent with
Yeah.
and really
Yeah.
enjoy playing. I just have never really put a ton of time into her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then when Freya came out, I kind of just dumped hours into playing Freya.
Sure.
But more or less like on this team, um, I was filling like flex DPS spots.
Sure.
Um, but like Pharah and Sim both aren't like exactly the most traditional hero pool for like flex DPS.
Yeah.
Um, just wondering, is there is it worth me putting time into another hero or just stay with things? I'm not gonna drop the heroes I already enjoy
Yeah. Yeah.
playing, but is it worth the time to pick somebody else up? Like, for instance, I just can't play Tracer. I
Sure.
have good amount of hours in Genji, but it still is one of those things where it's like I gotta put the time in. And Echo,
Sure.
we'll see in this video. I haven't played Echo in so long, but I really enjoy playing Echo. So does Echo kind of fill that same role in a team play that like a Genji or an Echo would more or less do, or
Yeah.
Genji or Tracer?
Yeah. Yeah. I understand. I mean, you're playing on a what? A diamond platinum team?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So
I mean, on both sides, it was kind of. I'm definitely the lowest on our team, and I know on their team they had a couple of master players.
sure, that's fine. Yeah, so basically the takeaway is that like they're gonna have more flexibility the lower rank that you are because your individual performance is just gonna matter more so than the quote unquote meta. And then I
Sure.
also don't think that having like Pharah, Echo can whip out the Sim, play Freya, these are okay. These are okay. I honestly don't think it's a problem. Like, if you're thinking about like playing long term with
Okay.
this team, this is a conversation that you probably want to have when you're approaching like Grandmaster Plus. And to be honest with you, even then,
Sure.
you can still find a niche to lean into. Like, you could have you don't have to play Trace everywhere. Like Pharah, Echo are good, pretty good characters right now, right? Like Symmetra is a good character right now.
Yeah, I mean, Pharah is fantastic
Yeah,
right now too.
right. So it's like I just don't see that. And you've already proven recently with Freya that you have like the capability of learning a new character if you're interested in it, and that's the more important thing,
Yeah.
you know. So we're fine.
Well, I
We're
mean,
fine.
yeah, I've been playing this game for a long time. So a lot of my time playing this game was just learning every hero. Just kind of, I would say more recently, I really trimmed down the hero pool and just started like I was like, I like Pharah. I'm putting all my time into Pharah.
Yeah.
Um, and then, that was kind of definitely when I saw a big boost in performance, just
Yeah.
trimming
Yep.
things down. So,
Yep. Yep. And that's going to carry over to other
um,
characters too. It's like the ability to do that with Farah probably helped you with Freya. And if you ever change to a different character or need to learn a new character or want to learn a new character, well, then you're going to be able to carry that momentum over to there too.
right. Um, all right.
Mostly it.
I think that's it for questions. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let me we want to use this here because the replay codes got wiped, so we have the VODs here.
Yeah, that was so tragic.
Yeah, we love that. But I don't understand the cadence
I
behind their.
My intuition told me I needed to record them.
That's smart. We love to see it. Okay, let's capture this window here. Let me get this capture window here and my other things so you can watch it afterwards. The only problem is there
Yeah,
will
I'm
not
also recording
be.
this.
Oh, perfect. Okay, awesome. The only problem is that there will not be. There, I won't be able to use like Epic Pen or anything to draw. So if you're just gonna have to see my mouse
Yeah,
here,
I know.
that's fine.
That's kind of so. I was wondering, can we skip to like I think it's about the 6 minute mark.
Yep.
We're on defense now.
Here.
Yep. So I know Tracer's coming up the stairs, and I don't want to be standing there, so I start backing up here,
Uh-huh.
and their ball's on me. And at this point, I'm like, okay, now Tracer's on this angle. I need to back off this angle, and I see her go by. Right here, I feel like I'm like trolling. Like I need to mark the right angle because then I just am obviously confused here, just kind of like doing
Yep.
nothing, and then I just
Yep.
go down onto the street, and then I'm just waiting for cart to come around the corner where it's going to stall anyways. Like I know it's going to stall right here. And then I go for this top angle. Mechanics this day were terrible. I'm okay with this, but then like here I back up. Should I have pushed that?
I mean, in terms of backing up, yeah, you shouldn't have backed up. You should have just taken the updraft to height. But even then, it's like yeah, the reason that backing up was not good is because you lost the high ground, right? Like now we're kind of stuck.
Right.
So just take the position up top here. Yeah.
Okay.
Take the position away.
And so that point right there in the back, though, where Sig and both my supports were all clumped
Here?
up on stairs.
Yeah.
Yes. Where should I be right now? Like, I know Tracer has gone off onto the right.
Okay.
I know at this point, that top angle, Sig has that. No one's going to be up there, or nobody can survive up there right now. My general thought was, do I go far right? Like, do I go upstairs to balcony over there?
You could. Sure. You could. Why not left? Why not further left?
See, okay, that's what I typically would do, is dash over there and go up. But
Yeah.
I felt like that was just going to be a really easily punishable angle.
You don't need to commit. Use your updraft. Scout
peek
for a
the
second.
wall.
Peek the wall, and then decide if you want to actually drop and commit or not. And then if you do drop and commit and things go a little hairy, if you have mercy pocket, whatever, well, worst case scenario, you could just no input dash double and get over the wall back.
Sure.
So like you're fine. You just need to commit here. I don't mind your decision to go right here, as in like I don't know what to do, so I'm just gonna guess I'm gonna go right, because it's actually you committing to a decision, and that's fine.
Sure.
But also if you're wondering about this, yeah, that would have worked. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Jump to the next spot. I believe it's watch point. I have it in the description.
Yep.
Little bookmarks. Okay, so this is, as I was kind of saying at the beginning, my Echo gameplay is just like really rusty, and so I came out the door and I'm just like instantly like, oh gosh.
Talking in the walls.
Can you back up a little bit? Can you back up a little bit?
Of course.
Okay, so like right here. Okay, we set up. Go to the left here. See the widow. I'm okay with this, and then I dash over here, and I just drop like to the ground. I assume I wanted to stay on bridge here. Should I just stayed on bridge, gone into room?
Yep. You don't
Okay,
necessarily need
and
to
then-
immediately go into room, but you can stay here and listen, and then depending on what you hear, depending on what you can see, you can poke these guys from here. You can poke towards the ball. If you hear Genji use a resource or two, you can swing wide for stickies and then fly out if you need to. But yeah, just basically take that position and decide what you do from there.
Okay, and then we're kind of playing dive comp here. So right here, obviously, I conk my head right there, but
Yeah.
we were about to have a nice little dive up there.
Yeah.
I messed it up. Now, I re-engage as soon as I have dash, but at this point, there's really nothing for me to do.
Yeah.
So I drop back down, and then I feel like I'm just, at this point, I'm like really confused. Do I just mark cart, or at this point
No.
now, I
need
need
to
to
take an
be
angle.
taking the top angle?
It being cart would have been fine if your Diva and Tracer and everybody else wasn't already here. So I actually want to start going back to here. The reason why you clonked your head is because you dropped.
Yes.
If you had taken the top right and flanked around off of your Divas engage, I don't even know who this is. Is this
Widow right there.
Widow? Widow dies.
Why is the quality so bad?
It's just the YouTube. It's fine. It's not your problem. I can see.
Okay.
It. So yeah, you're going to take this here, and then you're going to kill Widow from that right flank. The problem is that you clonked your head, but the problem before is that before you dropped. That's the problem.
Correct. Yes.
So then from there, we could have staged a dive, we could have pressured Widow out, we could have forced resources, and so on. Then the additional problem here is then as this fight goes with the information that you have, which is balls low, there's people on cart, Genji's use dash, we can no longer kill Genji, you need to take space.
Right.
And that would be above you, respecting Widow, of course, but maybe top left, maybe top main, and then this is what we deal with. She kills your Kiriko because you weren't there to fill that space 8 seconds ago.
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So just the key thing is just take a position and like allow yourself to make decisions based off of what you see from that position. Because clearly Echo is not like the easiest character in the world to just like shoot and duel and kill everybody instantly. You do have to be a little bit reflective with what you need to do. You got to think. You got to engage with what you're on your screen.
Yes.
But you don't get opportunities if you don't take space. Like let's say you're here. From this position, we're able to poke out Widow. And then from here, okay, Widow's taking this left here. If we'd simply stayed here instead of dropping the floor again, your Diva's on her tail. Once again, we're in a situation where we can maybe actively contest Genji or even use just peek again. Just peek on main from here again.
Yeah.
Right? and at a time where we're able to actually commit something. So it's like it's just more about taking a position and doing something with that position, and then reading with what
And
the
I
enemy team does.
and I do know like this is
Okay.
with
This is
all of my
better.
time in Pharah, like I do have this tendency to just drop off of angles when I know
Right.
they are good angles, but with Pharah that's fairly easily fixed. Not so easy with Echo.
Correct. And even with Farah here, I'd be saying the same thing because I don't want you to have to freaking
Right.
use your jump jet. I don't want you to have to rocket jump. I just want you to stay, right? And then you can always drop if you need to, right? This is all fine. I'll just focus more on the Genji and then clear him. And then from here.
All right. Then we're kind of coming up on this next spot where my job is cart here, correct? Like I should be marking cart here
It was, and now it isn't.
because the rest of my team showed up.
Right. So then as soon as this happens, you need to bail immediately. Basically, instead of looking at it from like a perspective of whose responsibility is cart, it's like who's there. And then if somebody else, as soon as somebody else is there, I would move you elsewhere. And I would generally prefer you to not be on cart if that's something you're able to communicate with your team, because you're a lot less.
It would be better.
You're a lot more fragile and a lot more rewarding in terms of your damage output. Diva Tracer are just better, but regardless, it's the point being is like we just needed to take space sooner. That's the big thing.
I don't know if I can already tell I was gonna die.
Done this for too long. See, this is what I'm talking about, like opportunities, right? Like you took top, ball came flying at you, which meant that you hit a lot of stickies, which means that you did a lot of damage, which then means that with a Mercy Pocket here, he's going to lose a lot of resources, and then we just go right back up top again. I don't hate this. We could commit to card.
And then, like right there, I obviously kind of see
it's just, you don't
confused again. Where I'm like, do I want to push this? Am I supposed to be on cart here?
You could have. You just needed to commit there. You could have gone cart. You could have gone cart and then used the cart position to pull people from you and then flank around from behind. But we just needed to take a position. The copy's fine. Okay. Okay.
That was the main part for Watch Point, was kind of just that first getting under the bridge there. And then Li Zhang would be the last one. I pulled out Sim for the start of the game. I goofed the TP at the beginning because I did not know. I just totally forgot about that top window being a spot.
That's fine.
But then the team was calling to play on point here.
Sure.
They come out on Pharah. Questionable things, but I end up kind of just floating here on point, and especially aiming towards like shoreside, and I'm like, I don't like shoreside because Pharah's right here, and I don't want to get booped off the edge. I feel like ultimately, like the entirety of this fight would have been fixed if I had like a TP onto point, but not on point. Is that more or less the way I want to play this? Like, do I set up turrets on point and then I want to play in courtyard?
So basically, here's the thing. It's like these guys want to take angles in you and fight you. So you have to leverage your mobility and survivability to discourage that. The problem is that you are not allowed to choose where you want to fight in terms of like you can teleport in Diva or you teleport in Ana. I mean, you can, but you probably are just going to end up fighting Pharah, and you're going to end up fighting Sombra. The question needs to be, you can throw a couple turrets on point, but then you need to use your teleporter, you need to use your HP, you need to use your turrets, you need to use your alt fire, and you need to fight for these angles. This is how it has to go. So once you get the point, you need to choose a side. Like obviously not when you're 70 HP, but like right now, this needs to be a turret right here. This needs to be charged alt fire where you think Farah's going to peak, and you need to hold this angle. And you need to communicate with your team about which angle you want to hold versus which angle your Cassidy or Wooing want to hold. Like right now, the entire enemy team is kind of on this side. So I'm going to kind of coach your team a little bit here. I don't want to see everybody in a clump on point. If they're all here...
See, and that's what I didn't like about this whole situation was that we were playing on point, but I just didn't know where I'm supposed to fill this
You just
role,
need to choose a lane. Choose a lane. So we'll pretend this is ranked, right? Like pretend your teammates are idiots. You can't communicate with them. GG's go next, right? If you just hold this left side here with a teleporter or a turret, you're fine. If you committed to teleporting yourself out and hard flanking them from the right side, that also can work. Or pushing whoever's here. There's somebody off of a screen on the enemy team right now. You can push them. See, this is fine. This is actually this is fine. As long as you have your teleporter here, you're fine. Because you're reducing the amount of angles that they can take just by holding your lane. You're 275 HP with shields, right? That's fine. And then what I would do is I would focus on using at least one turret on point is good, can be useful for your team. I would
Sure.
use at
Too many.
least, yeah, I would use at least one.
Scouting.
Yeah. I would use at least one for scouting, like you said, and also just so that you look at this duel here, and you're like, I'm not going to lose this duel.
Sure.
Just throw it on a wall, throw it on the angle, throw it near the diva, throw it near the Pharah, throw it on a wall, something like this. But yeah, this is
Give
fine.
them something to look at.
Yeah, give them something to look at, and then if things get hairy, aka they put like 3 people on you, then you have your teleporter to get out. This is the problem here, though. You're being too
Yeah.
popcorn. This
Yep,
is your.
I just went to the right, and then I
right,
come right back to the
right.
middle.
And the best part about this is you could do all sorts of silly things with this here. So you could put down your teleporter on that mini health pack to open up an angle for the alt fire on the Pokemon Pharah. Heck, you can even do that. Don't take it right away. Bait the Pharah to shoot it once, and then take it a second later. Right, because then she's like, oh, and then you pocket, and she's screwed, right? And then you can go back to point and throw an alt fire at the diva, and the Pharah is completely wasting her time because she's not shooting anything. So you lose the angle of the Pharah, and then die to the Pharah, but you didn't really lose the angle. You just walked away.
Right, I just gave it to her.
You gave it to her. So that was the reason why you guys die is because the Pharah, which was on your angle. That's the problem, if that makes sense. Because your Zara's got to kind of anchor on point. And then she's really relying off of you and your supports and your Cassidy to kind of control different angles around her. And so that's what makes Symmetra really strong is not just, you can teleport a point, but even when you are on point, Symmetra with 275 HP and turrets and teleport is really hard to poke out.
Sure.
Same thing here, right? You just need to commit. You can commit to Pharah, you can commit to Sombra, you can commit to the Diva. I don't really care. Just commit to something here.
Just too much indecision.
Too much indecision, right? So like here again, right? This is not your responsibility. You've committed to this lane. This is your lane. We need to be looking at DPS. You see it? Bam. Same thing.
Yes.
Right? I know it's like, Kiri's going to get me. Maybe you need to teleport yourself out. I don't know. But you have to look at that lane.
Right. And it's so simple. Like I was saying, I feel like right there's no reason not to TP past into courtyard and just
spook
poke
them
from behind.
Yeah, spook them and then just teleport right back, or just use cover to where it's only the Kiriko then shoot you. Like this is it's unfortunate. That was a good try. These rotations are where you guys are weak. So if it feels bad, it's not a problem. Okay, let's see what you do here. We're fighting more towards away from point. But even here, like, for example, that Sombra forces point, maybe you're the guy that teleports to point. You teleport to point and you force resources there, and then we're good to go. This is you're not controlling enough space here, though. I would prefer you to be either further right or maybe throwing some shots here, I guess. Certainly don't use your teleporter for playing in the back. This is fine. Good. Force her out. There's no EMP either, so you can pretty much use your symbol on anything you want. Sure. Don't mind those turrets. It's a good wall. Throw a turret or two if you can. I would just throw a turret or two and then be patient.
Yeah.
That Nano Diva exploded you from the flank. But I think the wall's good enough. We might win this. Let's see the alt fire here. It's a little mechanical moment here. Oh, never mind. She just dies. But yeah, you get the turrets out. Turrets are just tempo. In other words, you just use them quickly as you can and then go right back to just shooting. But you should win this fight. Turrets are good. We should be fine. All right, what's next? We got let's check for time here.
Those were my 3 big ones. Yeah, what time do we have?
Let's see here. I think we have time here. Yeah, we've got time. We've got another at least another 5-6 minutes here.
Okay, actually, if we have a little time, I was wondering, could I interview you on a couple of things?
Of course, go for it.
So I'm working on a little YouTube video project, calling it the flight book to Pharah.
Flight book to Pharah. That's great.
I got a couple of interview questions, just get your opinion on them as a coach.
Sure.
So, if you had a golden rule for Pharah, what do you think it would be?
Golden rule for Pharah is essentially managing your CDs based off of how aggressive your position is. So I think the way to think about it would be like, this is assuming that you're already taking angles, right? Like that's just kind of the low-hanging fruit. But I think what makes Pharah relatively unique compared to a lot of the other DPS characters is that you have fuel, you have jump jet, you have conk, you have dash, you have like all of these resources to move quicker, right? I don't think even Pharah players realize you move faster when you're using fuel, right? So basically, the more aggressive the position, decides how you want to use your cooldowns. If you're on a really deep angle and you think, okay, they're going to look at me like crazy. We talked about this earlier, right? You want
Hmm.
a lot of tools. You want conk, you want dash, you might want verticality with your jump jet, you want some fuel, and so on. More of a
So would it be
passive
safe?
angle. Yeah, go
Oh, I'm
ahead.
sorry. You
No, no,
continue.
no, 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 go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you would you say it was safe to say the greedier the angle, the more cooldowns you want to get
Yes.
out?
Yes, or the later you need to go, right? I'm not saying you should save your cooldowns if the enemy team is ignoring you or if you see a huge boop opportunity, sure. But basically, your mindset needs to be if I take a really aggressive angle, I need to have cooldowns either to get big value and die or cooldowns to bait the attention and disengage, essentially.
Awesome. Um, what do you feel is the best Pharah player in pro play? So other people could look them up and.
Ooh. Ooh, that's a tough one right now. I don't know how much Farah's being played. I think let me look up. I think he's saying somebody that might have played Farah
I think
recently.
he did. I want to
Yeah.
say somebody else in NA played on King's Row. I want to say.
Yeah, I would definitely say like something like he's saying would be a good shot because he has been a very good Farah for a
Oh,
long
he played
time.
Far on Ilios
Yeah. So
against the Falcons.
yes, yes, I
Yeah.
agree. And even just historically, like the last year and a half or so, like I think you're gonna since the Farah rework, I think he's gonna be your guy.
Okay.
Crucially, playing the reworked Farah, the dynamic, the hard flanking. I just found I just typed in he's saying Farah on YouTube right now, and I've already got a ranked code of him on Nepal, and he's just taking these crazy flanks. So yeah, I think he's saying is going to be your guy. He may not be the best, but he's certainly going to be in the contention for the best, and I would trust him to play the character well.
Awesome. And then the last one, when you're VOD reviewing for Faro, what do you think the most important things to watch out for are?
I really think it just comes down to managing the attention. So it goes back to the first rule for Farah. One of the first things that we talked about. When I played
Mm,
Farah, I actually think I climbed higher in Farah than I did in almost any character when I was learning her rework
mm.
because it was her initial rework. She was actually really strong and people didn't know it.
Oh,
So a lot of people
yeah, I switched to her from playing
yeah.
Echo.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, that's a pretty decent rework. I should probably learn how this rework functions so that I have to play the new character. Okay, so that's fine. So I learned the new character. This was the rank reset of season 9. And
Hmm.
I got like Masters 2 or Masters 3, Masters 4, which was like at the time, that was like these players were all Grandmaster the previous season, right? And I ended
Sure.
up finishing up with like 8 or 9 hours with like a 67, 66% win rate. So I probably could have climbed a Grandmaster that season with Faro. And this is when people said she was bad. And one of the things that I learned is my KDs were just always pretty consistently a mess. Now that's maybe more of a commentary on me as a player, but I also think it's just the nature of Faro is like these playing to bait attention, baiting resources, baiting over pushes, and then disengaging. So it goes back to what we said here, right? So it's like the thing you have to remember as Faro is you have to be responsive to attention. You are going to
Mm.
either be ignored, in which case you need to be killing people, or you're going to be hard focused, in which case you need to be living. You need to be disengaging. You need to be managing your resources. And so being very responsive to how much attention you're getting, so unbelievably important with Far. Take an angle and then see what happens. They ignore you, murder, right? They overfocus you, get out, right? And you have to be
Sure.
super fast with Far. It can be difficult to do so. I think more so than most of the dive characters because you look at something like Conk, Dash, Jump Shot, and so on. It takes a little bit of wherewithal to know how to do it, right? It's not as simple as
Yes.
it is with some
Yes.
things
And you
or
have to
DPS.
manage those. If you want to use them for movement, then
Right.
you can't use them in the engagement.
Exactly. And they all do different things, right? Conk has to be aimed. Dash is multi-directional. Jump Jet's obviously up. So like you just have a lot of little things that you got to know and you got to do them quickly. So Far could feel a little bit like Dead by Daylight kind of a play style, right? Like you're gonna get
Yes. Yeah.
run down, So you can manage that and you can win a lot of games off of that.
Awesome. Do we have time for one more?
Of
One more
course,
question?
yeah, of course.
All right. My last question would just be, what's your opinion on Far's new perks? Um, Personally, and talking with like all of my people in my Farah Discord,
Hmm.
um, shields and I really like the Sky Spy, but I'm
Hmm.
wondering, what's your opinion if you had to pick perks?
Sure. So the way I like to look at far perks is in a vacuum is it's like static versus movement focused. So if the map gives you a lot of reason to rotate and take angles and flank, and there's a lot of opportunity to do those things, then you're going to lean into things like helix shields. You're going to lean into things like fuel stores, right? Just the ability to move faster, and move more frequently is really, really valuable. A lot of more self-sufficiency and self-sustain, which is really important. But then if you have maps like, let's say, a King's Row first point, where, you're going to be taking angles and flanks, but these are things where you're utilizing your verticality. You might be punishing more fragile backlines with slower characters. The ability to move with barrage is just going to make more lethality with that barrage on those more static characters. And stuff like Sky Spy is going to be amazing, right? It's just going to mean you're going to be able to tap those characters much more. So what I like to do is I'll look at the map, I'll look at the situation, be like, how much am I going to be moving around on this map? How broad is this map? And that's going to lean me with a bias towards those movement perks. And then if it's more of a static map, I'm going to move in thinking more about moving barrage. I'm going to think more about Sky Spy. Now, if I were to say, like, in terms of consistency, I probably am going to be leaning towards helix shields on any maps where I'm going to be moving a lot. I find that's probably going to be most of the time. That's going to be the minor perk that I choose. And I think the same thing goes with Sky Spy, because I think in terms of movement, I think fuel source is nice, but it's not the most important source of movement for me.
Right. And I think what I've said is that I think the helix shields is just more of a movement buff than the overfuel overall.
Agreed.
Because it allows you to rocket jump more.
Exactly. You're going to rocket jump more, and then you're going to be able to hold these aggressive angles. So it's in a weird way, helix shields is technically not a movement focused thing, but the way that you interpret it is. It's more shields. It's instant shields. It's going to allow you to be able to do things by yourself more often. So I think her perks are pretty reasonable things that you can kind of. There's good arguments for all of them, but it's going to depend on the map and depend on the situation about how much you value your ability to move around by yourself.
Awesome.
All right. No other questions?
Well, thanks for your time. I think those were the questions I had written down.